Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, good morning, everyone. First of all, I'd like to say sorry because I couldn't attend the class in last meeting. Actually, I've already sent you the file in our Google Classroom. It's about summary essay to make you more understand. So today I'm gonna discuss it again. It's about summary essay. I think the term summary is not really. I think you are really familiar with the term summary. Um, as the word it refers to, summary is something like we can make it shorter than the original source, but it's different with the summary essay because, as we all know, that essay consists of three parts. The first is introduction, the second is body, and the third is concluding. So that's why what you're gonna do is to make the summary essay. Yeah. Before we go further, I think I'm gonna start by giving you the purposes of the summary essay. Here we go. So, what are actually the purposes of the summary essay? First of all, summary essay is intended to deliver the audiences the understanding of the text that you have read without having them to read it themselves. And second, to show your understanding of reading text. It means that by writing the summary essay, you have to clearly deliver what you have understood from the text that you read. Actually, there are so many kinds of text that you can develop into the summary. It can be from the book chapter or maybe in a research article. But today, in the end of the lesson, you will be asked to write down the summary essay based on the article that I'm going to give you in the end of the lesson. Now we go to the features of summary essay. As I told you in the first slide, the summary essay is usually shorter than the original source. Supposing that you read a scientific article consists of 16 pages, but in the summary essay, maybe you can write into one or 2 pages. I think that's enough. And it repeats the ideas of the source in different phrases and sentences. Well, this is very important thing that you have to consider when you write down the summary essay. Keep in your mind that you don't have to copy and paste from the original source into your summary essay. Instead, you have to write in your own words. You have to write in different phrases and sentences. So that's the skill of paraphrasing. One of the common mistakes when students are asked to write a summary essay is that they make some direct quotations from the original source into their summary essay. This is actually wrong. Why? Because in the point of the summary, you have to write everything you understand from the text using your own words. Yeah, so that's paraphrase. When I was a university student, when I had to write down some summary or maybe a book chapter, I usually provide two tables in Microsoft Word. The first table is the original version, and the second table is my paraphrase. So another question is how actually we can paraphrase the original source. There are so many ways actually uh, that you can do. For example, one, you can change the sentence structure. For example, if the original source using the active sentence, and maybe in your paraphrase you can change it into the passive one. That's the first. The second, you can also find out the synonym of the word from the original source into your summary. So there are so many ways actually. And then in your summary essay, you must represent your source accurately and comprehensively with as little of your own interpretation as possible. It means that when you write down the summary essay, you don't have to write your analysis, your opinion, or your interpretation. Your job is like a reporter. You report something you understand from the text, and then you put down into your summary essay. And then you're not required to add your own examples and explanations because in summary you just report. You just have to write what you understand from the text without adding some of your opinions or examples. And summary essays are similar to abstract in research papers and should also be written in a third person. If you read an abstract of a scientific article or research paper, you will know several things. For example, the first sentence of the abstract is about the background of study. The second sentence is about the purpose. The third sentence is about methods. The following sentences are about results and discussions, and probably the last sentence of the abstract is about it is about conclusion and even suggestions. So this one, summary essays, yeah, it's like an abstract in a research paper because the summary essay is about how you can write a summary, divide it into in introductory or maybe body paragraph, and the last is about concluding paragraph. So in the following slide, I'm gonna explain to you how to make an introductory paragraph of the summary essay. Here we go. Well, now we're gonna start with introductory paragraph of the summary essay. The introduction is usually one paragraph. It also contains a one sentence or a thesis statement written in the last sentence of an introductory paragraph that sums up the main point of the source. This thesis statement is not your main point, it is the main point of your source. And remember to focus on the main ideas that the author presents in his or her works. It's similar to like the previous type of essays that we have already studied. Introductory paragraph gives the readers or the audiences the background information of our topic. When it comes to the summary essay, so in your introductory paragraph or summary essay, maybe the first or the second or the third sentence you have to give some background information about the text that you're about to summarize. Yeah, and in the end of the introductory paragraph, there is a thesis statement written in the last sentence of an introductory paragraph. This is actually a sentence that sums up the main point of the source. Well, writing thesis statement, especially for the summary essay, is quite tricky. So you have to be careful when you write down the thesis statement for the summary essay. One example of the thesis statement of the summary essay is you can write down one sentence that become the main point or the main focus of the source that you're about to summarize. Okay. In the first sentence of the summary essay, you can write the title of the source. For example, Barron and Thompson's study discusses, and then the title of the source. If you're about to make the summary from the book or maybe from the scientific article, and then the following sentences you can also provide the pertinent background information about the author of the source or about the text to be summarized. If you are going to summarize a scientific article, the first sentence it is about the title of the source and the writers of the source, and the second sentence it can be about what was the research about and maybe the purpose of the research. That's the background information. And remember, the introduction should not offer your own opinions or evaluations of the text you are summarizing. I tell you once more that in summary essay, you don't have to put your own opinions or maybe your own analysis or interpretation. You just have to retell, or maybe you have to get the main point of the summary essay and then you put it down into your introductory paragraph or in your summary essay. There we go, the following slide. And now we go to the body of the summary essay. The body of summary essay paraphrases and condenses the original piece. Um, if you are summarizing, for example, a story or a movie, maybe in the body you're gonna tell about the first event, or maybe some of event in the beginning of the story, and in the middle of the story, and maybe in the last story. How does the movie end? Or in the movie, you in the first body paragraph, you probably want to tell about how does the movie start, and what are the implications or complications of the movie, and how does the movie end. So that's maybe the body paragraph of if you summarize a movie. It's different if you are summarizing the scientific article. Maybe the body paragraph can focus on the methods, the research methods, the finding and discussions, and also the conclusion, something like that. So you have to paraphrase those points and put it down into the body of your summary essay. And you have to include important data but omit minor points. When you read a book or a scientific article, you have to be selective. It means that you have to be aware what are the main points that the author tries to deliver, and you have to highlight it. After you highlight, you write it down into the summary using your own words. And if you think that the illustrations or the examples given by the authors are really essential in your summary essay, so you can also include that into your summary essay, but also with your own words. Okay, I think here are some tips when you write down the summary essay. Why I don't include the concluding paragraph, because usually a summary essay doesn't have a summary essay doesn't have concluding paragraph. If you think that it is really important to write down a concluding paragraph, so in concluding paragraph it simply states restating of the main points of your summary. Now we go to the next slide. It's about summarizing the research article. Before you make a summary, you should read the article more than once to make sure you've thoroughly understood it. You can scan, read carefully, and skim the article. I think for all kind of summary, before you make the summary, whether it is movie, book, novels, or maybe scientific article, the first thing you have to, if it's movie, it means that you have to watch it until finish. But if you try to make summary from the book or from the article, it means that you have to read it carefully, understand it. If you think there are so many main points in the book or maybe in the article, so you have to highlight, and then you put it down into your summary using your own words. Here are several points that will be helpful for you when summarizing the research article. You also need to understand the elements or components of research article. There are two forms or maybe two kinds of elements in research article. The first one is title. The title gives the reader what's the research about. What is the research about? And then the second is about an abstract. An abstract gives some summary of the content of a whole scientific article. And the third one is about introduction. In introduction, The author explains why this research is really important to be conducted, and the author also states the purpose of the research and the research gap, what makes difference between this study with other previous researches, and the last is about research problems or maybe research questions, and that's about introduction. And the second is about literature review. Some of the article includes literature review in their scientific article. In literature review, the author gives some grand theories that are used to answer the research problems. For example, if the topic is about how can we improve students' speaking ability by using YouTube videos, so maybe in the literature review, the author will explain about the speaking methods or teaching strategies in teaching speaking, something like that. And the next is about method. The method gives some explanation about whether the research is quantitative or maybe qualitative. And then it also tells about who are the respondents of the research, uh, how is the data collected and analyzed. So that's method. And then the next section is about findings and discussions, or some of the article uses the term result. In this section, the author shows their findings. Yeah, for example, if the authors or the researchers use interview or maybe observation, so in the findings they will show the result of interview and questionnaire, for example. And then we have the discussions. The discussion is an explanation between the finding and the theory used to answer the research problems. So in discussions, the author will finally come to the conclusion whether the research problem is answered or not. And the last part is about conclusion. Conclusion means that it's something like the last section in scientific article or in research article that conclude the finding and the discussions. Besides, in conclusion section, the authors also put some suggestions, implications, yeah, of the study or maybe the result of the study. That's a short definition or a short description about the elements of the research article. Now, because you are about to summarize the research article, I think the following key points will help you to understand the research article. The first is introduction. You have to find out what research questions or problem was addressed. So it means that you have to find out the problems of the research. We conduct the research because we find a problem in the field and we formulate several questions so that we can find out the answer of the problem that we state in our introduction. And if it is quantitative research, you have to find out what are the hypotheses formulated. That's the part of introduction. And then you go to the next section is about method. You have to find out what type of research was done. Is it quantitative or qualitative? And then in the method, you also have to find out how was data collected and analyzed, and who involved in the study, how many respondents, and how the writers choose the sample. This is also very important for your summary essay. And then the result. In the result, you have to find out what were the most important findings. because it's going to be quite long. So make sure you find out the key points or the main points of the results so that you can finally come to the conclusion, or you finally come to find out the important findings of the study. And in the result, there's also some sentences to state whether the hypothesis was supported or not. And the discussions, you have to find out what is the overall answer to the research questions. And how does the author explain these results? What are the implications of the result? And are there any important limitation and key recommendations? In the discussions, find out several main points about the answer of the research and the implication of this research and some limitation and recommendation for the study. Okay, that's several key points that you have to find out when you read the scientific article or the research article. Now we go to the outlining the article summary, or how we make summary essay from the scientific article. Now we go to the introductory paragraph first. The introductory sentence includes the title of the article. For example, in the article The Urge to Explore, David claims that the desire to explore our world is essential to human nature. As we all know, the first sentence in introductory includes the title of the article. So the title of the article is The Urge to Explore. Who writes the article? It's David. Okay, and the following sentences can be about introducing the article's topic, what was the research about, and the research question, what were the questions formulated in the study, and ended by the thesis statement. Remember, the thesis statement of the summary essay is the main point of the article. Now we go to the body paragraph. The first body paragraph, it's good. You will probably discuss about the methods. You have to briefly outline the research method used, whether it is quantitative or qualitative, and describing the source of the data. How does the researchers collect the data, whether it is used interviews or questionnaires or maybe observation, and explaining how the variables were measured, meaning that you also have to find out how the author analyzed the data, how to measure the questionnaire or maybe interviews, or maybe if there's some kind of different treatment, how do they calculate the result of the treatment itself. And the second body paragraph is about results. You have to summarize the most relevant results and potential implications of this result. So the second body paragraph is very important because you will give the audience the results and the discussions of the study, which is very important. And make sure to be selective in including some information that you're about to write down in your summary essay. And the third body paragraph is about limitation and suggestions, and you have to find out and describe the study's limitations and suggestions of the study. All right, guys, so I think that's about summarizing the research article. Now I'm going to give you this one. Okay, so this is actually the file, or this is actually the file that you have to summarize maybe in the following meetings. The topic is about oral corrective feedback in English as a foreign language classroom, a teaching and learning perspective. The authors of this research were Quan Van Ha, Lok Tan Nguyen, and Biu Biu Hang. Yeah, it's from Vietnam, maybe. So this is the title of the study. Okay, and this is actually the abstract. Uh, take a look. The first sentence is about background of the study, and the second sentence is about why this study is necessary to be conducted, and the third sentence, it's about the scope, yeah, the scope of the study. I mean, who are the subjects of the study. And then the following sentence is about methods. It includes also some respondents and collecting the data. Yeah, and the following sentence is about result or findings, right? And the following sentences are about implication of the study. Here is the abstract. Yeah, what you have to do is read all sections in this article, and then you have to write down your summary essays. So make sure that you really understand about this text, this article. I take this article because I think it's not really that difficult in terms of the word choices. Yeah. Okay. This one. Next, I'm gonna show you how to find out the article in website or in internet. First, there are several webs or websites that you can use when you want to find out the scientific article. The first one is Science Direct. Okay, wait a sec. This one, this web, this web, this website is the most used website for finding the journals and books. Okay, the first step we have to put the keywords. For example, mm, okay, speaking. Let's say speaking, and then okay, and then search. Okay, it's still loading. All right. Yeah. Uh, when you type speaking, and there will be so many results, and you have to find maybe the relevant scientific that you will use or download. Yeah. Okay. For example, for this one, it's easy because you can simply click the download PDF. But what about the other titles? For example, mm, okay, which one? Okay, let's say this one. Phonological acquisition. I think it's quite interesting topic. Yeah, because this cannot be downloaded, or you have to purchase the PDF so that you can get it. I have another way to download this one, and you have to follow these instructions. Okay, jadi kalian tinggal langsung aja di bawah ini ada web DOI-nya kalian kemudian caranya adalah di save link as. Oke, kemudian buka website yang baru namanya Sci-Hub. Nah, ini website. Website ini berguna untuk membuka jurnal-jurnal yang berbayar ya. Jadi istilahnya tuh kayak ngebajak jurnal yang berbayar menjadi bisa kalian dapatkan. Kok gini? Sebentar ya. Nah, kalian ketik aja Sci-Hub. Terus kita klik yang ini ya, .st, tapi bukan st12. karena tadi kita udah sama-sama di ini ya, sekali lagi kita copy link aja. Copy link, kemudian ini di sini kita paste dan langsung kita download. Apakah bisa? Oke, kita tunggu dulu. Oke, kayaknya kalau yang website ini nggak bisa karena terlalu ini ya, terlalu mungkin baru ya, sangat baru ya, September Oktober ya, mungkin berapa bulan ke belakang. Tapi kita coba yang lainnya. Kita cari yang masih di 2021 tapi bulannya agak sedikit ke belakang. Kita coba. September. Okay, wait a second. September. Wah, ini apalagi November ya. Oke, kita mungkin coba yang ini ya. Coba September bisa nggak ya? Kita coba dulu. Tapi caranya gini lah. Kurang lebih caranya seperti itu. Memang sih untuk terbitan yang baru agak susah menggunakan Sehab ini karena belum masuk mungkin ya. Tapi kalau untuk yang tahun-tahun sebelumnya itu bisa lebih mudah banget sih buat teman-teman untuk dapatin. Nah, ini dia. Karena ini udah bisa kebuka, kita klik save. Maka langsung bisa ke download. Itu guys caranya untuk mendownload jurnal-jurnal yang berbayar menjadi gratis. Oke, nah itu caranya. Silakan nanti kalian diaplikasikan, terutama jika kalian nanti mendapat tugas ya untuk cari-cari jurnal, butuh jurnal. Ada juga satu lagi website jika teman-teman ingin mendownload buku ya, namanya gen.lib.trus.edu. Siap sebentar ya, masih loading. Masih loading. Oke, kayaknya lagi nggak bisa. Ini mungkin ya webnya jadi nggak bisa kebuka. Cuma nama webnya ini ya, gen.lib.trus.edu. Oke, sedang gangguan mungkin webnya. Baik, teman-teman, paling gitu aja yang bisa saya sampaikan. Kita ketemu lagi next meeting ya untuk pembahasan lebih lagi tentang kalian boleh mulai latihan untuk ini ya, latihan untuk membuat summary dari teks yang nanti akan saya sampaikan. Terima kasih.